The Greek Freak goes to Miami. What the numbers say about the trade. It happened after 13 months of public speculation, private deliberation, and one memorable thumbs down to the Milwaukee crowd. Giannis to the Miami Heat. The Bucks got Tyler Herro, Kel'el Ware, Jaime Jaquez Jr, Kasparas Jakucionis, 3 first-round picks, a 2030 pick swap, and a 2033 second rounder. Bobby Portis goes to Miami as well. It's one of the biggest trades in NBA history by name recognition alone. The question net wins lets us ask, and one that most of the instant reaction pieces won't, is whether the numbers tell a coherent story about who won the deal. So what did Milwaukee get? If you read the draft pick value piece, which is linked in the show notes, you already know about how to read the pick portion of the return. If not, consider signing up for free and subscribing. If not, the short version, career net wins averages by draft slot on a smooth curve. They're a cliff after pick 3, 2 outlier spikes at picks 9 and 13, and then a long flat plane. Here's how Milwaukee's Hall maps those averages. The number 13 pick across 50 drafts is 32, higher than several lottery picks, but only because Karl Malone was drafted there in 1985. If you take him out, the true average at 13 is closer to 22 to 24 career net wins. Milwaukee's actual pick somewhere in that range. The 2 unprotected firsts come from a Miami team that will be 36-year-old Giannis' team in 2031. The Heat are committing to wins now, not picks later. So these are likely to land in the range of picks 12 to 22, which from a career net wins standpoint means somewhere between 22 and 28. Using the averages from the pick chart, 32 for number 13, roughly 25 each for the 2 future unprotected. Milwaukee's getting approximately 82 career net wins worth of expected draft value in the pick portion alone, plus the pick swap, which is small but real asymmetric option. The 4 players are where it gets more interesting. Here's what all 4 produced last year in net total. Tyler Herro's 33-game season, and he had foot surgery, which kept him out of most of 24-25, and he only played a third of this season before once again succumbing. It's the biggest caveat in Milwaukee's return, and what they're getting when he was healthy, he averaged 2,466 for a net total of positive actions across 77 games per game rate of 32, which would put him firmly in the tier of players who affect winning. He's 26, grew up outside Milwaukee, and has something to prove after a couple injury-interrupted years. It's either a great reclamation story or an ongoing medical question. The Bucks are hoping the first happens. Ware at 21 is arguably the most intriguing player in the package. He was buried behind Bam Adebayo in Miami, and he posted a 1,233 net total in 77 games. Strong production at a minimal cost on a rookie deal. He's a legitimate two-way center who fits exactly what a rebuilding team needs. Jaquez is the steadiest piece of the return. 3 seasons of consistent 11 to 1,200 net total production. Good for 75 games this year. He's 24 years old. No drama. 500 player on a team that needs 500 players to build around while the draft picks develop. Jakucionis at 19 years old is pure upside. 350 net total in 53 games as a teenager in his first NBA season. Tells you nothing definitive except he's getting minutes and is a disaster. Whatever he becomes, if anything's years away. So what did Milwaukee give up? Well, here's the full Giannis view. And I leave a chart in this in the written piece. The developmental arc through age 24 was one of the most dramatic in the database, then a remarkably steady plateau from ages 25 through 30, 6 seasons per game, production between 41.2 and 45.4, almost regardless of games played or team context. That's a signature of a genuinely elite player. The rate held even when the volume fluctuated. The 29.1 positive actions per game at age 31 is the numbers everyone's debating. As I laid out in the trade value piece, the honest interpretation of that number involves a simple bit of arithmetic. 36 games at an injury-disrupted rate in a season where the franchise is falling apart around him, and he was reportedly miserable in that situation. The injury history, 2 calf strains, A knee hyperextension, a disrupted late season absence is real and concerning. The motivation question is equally real. Neither is the same as saying he's broken. The per game projection tells the story more clearly. If he plays 72 games next season at the same per game rate he produced from ages 25 to 30, which is a conservative assumption, and provided he's motivated, he's in the 2,900 to 3,200 net total range, which firmly places him in the top 10 players in the league in the current database, comparing it to the past year. The production comps from the piece I wrote before projected 8 to 10 net wins over his age 31 to 33 window of healthy, and nothing from last year necessarily changed that assessment. It confirms it. Bobby Portis is worth noting here too. He gave Milwaukee 4 seasons of 1,600 plus net total production, making him a genuine contributor to a playoff caliber team. But the last 2 years, 24-25 and 25-26 seasons, it shows a real decline. He's 30, played only 49 games last year and 67 this year at declining rates. At his peak, he was a piece. He's no longer that. Milwaukee's not losing much importance. Miami gets a useful body around their new star. The version of this trade most commentators are doing math on frames it as present value of Giannis for the next 3 to 4 years versus future value of picks plus present value of young players. Here's what the net wins framework says about that math. Miami's projecting if he produces 8 to 10 net wins per season across ages 32 to 35 in a situation he's genuinely motivated to succeed in, at 32 to 40 net wins of value over the 4 years, plus the championship probability that an elite player adds to a core that already has Bam Adebayo. Miami's history of maximizing motivated superstars under Pat Riley is a legitimate factor that doesn't show up in any formula. Milwaukee's projecting 3 draft picks with a combined expected value of roughly 82 career net wins, plus 4 players whose combined projection, if healthy and developed, is comfortably over 100 net wins across their careers. In theory, that's more total value than the 32 to 40 net wins Giannis likely produces from here. So where does the math get complicated? Well, draft pick value averages include a huge number of busts. The median outcome at pick 13 is closer to 15 to 20 career net wins. Milwaukee's getting the expected value, which includes a tale of outcomes ranging from franchise cornerstone to 4 years of rotation player. And the 4 players, however promising, are not yet Giannis. The cleaner way to think about it is Milwaukee chose a full rebuild over a half rebuild, which would have been the Jaylen Brown offer from Boston. The pick value article shows why that's probably the right call. Boston's offer of Brown plus 2 first-rounders would have given Milwaukee a star-level player entering his age 30 season with his own contract questions, plus 2 picks that would have been late first-rounders if the Celtics remain contenders. That's a worse expected value outcome than the full haul from Miami, even though it would have kept Milwaukee nominally competitive for the next 2 to 3 years. The one thing the numbers can't tell you is, and I mentioned in the previous article, the bear case being Anthony Davis, the comp ages and injury profiles match uncomfortably. Davis at 31 produced 66.7 net wins, then 1.4 at 32. The body stops cooperating precisely when the contract commitments extend the furthest. Giannis' game's built on the same foundation: first step explosion, finishing through contact, athleticism that has almost no fallback, and his body's now shown 3 seasons of soft tissue fragility. The bull case is that Miami is exactly the kind of situation that resolves the motivation question, and a player's per game production held at 44 to 45 net total per game across 6 seasons before last year's injury-riddled disaster is not a player whose abilities decline. He's a player whose body betrayed him during the worst possible season. To have it do so in a franchise's situation that had already collapsed around him. So what the numbers say about the trade as constructed: Milwaukee got fair value for a player who had made clear he wasn't staying and who played 36 games last season. Miami paid a steep but not irrational price for one of the 10 most productive players in the database entering his age 32 season, pairing him with a coach who understands how to build championship cultures and a franchise that's done exactly this before. The Bucks chose the future. The Heat chose Giannis. The formula says both are reasonable bets given what each side needed. What happens next depends almost entirely on whether that 29.1 per game at age 31 was injury or an inflection point, and that question won't be answered by any number we already have. NetWins is the original statistic developed at netwins.substack.com. Once again, consider subscribing. the NetWins formula and all written content are original works. All rights are reserved. Thank you for your time.